Good evening, people. Welcome back to Born and Red. You're not watching an old show. We're live again. It's not the same. It might be the same title, but slightly adjusted. It keeps on rambling on, this, doesn't it? This story and rumbling on. Sorry, but we're here again, back again. It's a late night stream. We're liking this. I hope you are too. It's already about 74 people in the building. Take a seat. I've got my cup of tea. Nice and warm. Bit of sidr honey. You know what that is, Gene? The one that I paid 250 quid for.
Yeah,
Thinking it was 250.
Basi just told me to buy that right now, 2 minutes ago.
It was.
Jake, you don't want to know our story, what happened with me and him.
Jake, we thought it's 250. We thought it's a 250 on the price tag, price label. It was 250 pounds.
And guess what? Avi, me, the clever clog. Yeah, I go to the till. I go, Asim, I'll just get it. Yeah, I thought, I'll do a good deed. Good deed. Go to the bill. The guy goes 500 quid. I'm like, I go, bro, have you got the right price? He goes, only 2 jars of it, man. He goes, yeah.
Have you
bloody give him my card, man. Paid for it.
Avi apparently is the best
It's
honey
really
in the
good
world.
though,
Comes from Yemen.
It's really good though.
Well, here we are. The love triangle is still going on in the media. A bit of propaganda, bits of it from the Spanish side and bits of it from this side as well. But here we are. I know you guys were. I think actually Avi wasn't on the show last night. But Avi, I'll start with you. Tell me where you are today, especially when you saw some reports yesterday about Real Madrid coming in for a second approach. Have you been mulling over the whole situation? Has your opinion changed? Because mine changes every 10 minutes, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because the more you think about it, every possibility is, it's likely to, it can occur. Anything is possible. But tell me where you are at this current stage.
Well, as long as we don't hear anything from Trent or his advisors publicly, he's going to drag on, isn't it? There's 31 days in January, and Real Madrid like playing the waiting game, and it could be that they come in maybe in the last few hours of January before midnight, and fax through a offer. They've done that before with De Gea, and they actually got it on the wrong time when they wanted to purchase him from Man United. So it's something that's. I hope that it doesn't derail the season. I'm sure it won't. And I'm sure Arne Slot is a strong character and he won't let this affect the team. But we've been there before last year, not in any kind of same scenario, but we were on the cusp of doing something historical last season, Asim, until we met Manchester United twice in the FA Cup game and the league game. And they were poor as they are this season. Yeah, but they might be even worse this season, but they were a shit show last season too. And we pretty much ballsed it up in all 3 games as well. Early in the season, when we had them at home, we drew to them. And then away from home, the 2 games that we played against them, we managed to, we managed to balls it up. So as long as it doesn't distract the team, but sooner or later, Asim, we will need to hear from Trent, because the sooner that this lingers on, the sooner that he ignores interviews with Sky, because I think they're doing it deliberately now. He could easily, as vice captain, he should be talking post match as well. They can bring him up. I know they give Salah the mic time, or they give Bird the mic time, or other players who have, like Cody Gakpo has been on the mic Sky, but we've never seen Trent of late during the post-match.
What's he going to say?
He can talk about performances. They can probe him about the contracts. Why shouldn't he be talking as well on the presses or in the interviews after the game?
What's he going to say? What's he going to say in regard to his contract situation? What do you think he's going to say?
He won't say a lot, Jake, but he should be probed on it. He should be questioned on it. If Salah and Van Dijk are being questioned on it, Trent should be questioned on it too. He's getting away scot-free right now.
It would help. It would help if it's man of the match performance.
No, he's getting away with it scot-free at the moment, I feel. And look, the longer that it drags on, this ain't doing anyone good. This ain't doing Liverpool any good. This ain't doing the squad morale any good. We need to know either he's staying and he's committed to this football club beyond the summer, or if he's going, give us an answer one way or another.
But you're not going to know that, even if he does interviews. You don't know that with Salah, and you don't know that with Virgil. We think they're going to stay, but you don't know that.
It would be nice to just be asked the question. It would be nice to see his body language when he's been asked this question. No, we've seen the body language of Salah and Van Dijk. When you're saying that we've not seen this from Salah and Van Dijk, they've had conviction in their answers when they've said we want to stay at Liverpool Football Club. We're ready
Avi,
to stay.
can I
I
ask you
want
a
to stay. Salah has also said, I want to stay. So we've
Can I
already
ask you
heard
a question?
from their mouthpiece, 1 minute, Asim, from their
Okay.
mouthpiece that they want to stay here. Sorry, Asim.
If Trent is such a villain, why haven't we got Van Dijk and Salah over the line?
Separate contracts, separate deals, Asim.
I know they're
They're not
separate.
all assigned. They're not all assigned to the same agent. I mean, look, from weeks on end, months on end, we've been hearing from big pieces around the club, Salah and Van Dijk are close to being done. I believe that Van Dijk is going to be close to being done. I said first week of January. I think Van Dijk will be done first week of January. If it's not, then Putter, start worrying. Start worrying about all three. But I have a strong belief that Van Dijk will be done.
But I'm coming at the owners. My focus here is at the owners, Avi. If Trent is such a hard contract to get over the line, and the messages and publicly, Trent and Salah and Van Dijk have come out and said they want to stay, but only about 6-7 days ago, Salah on live on camera said, "No, we're far apart. We can't get these contracts over the line, Avi."
We can't get them over the line. I think you're right, but we also have to have some kind of consideration that Richard Hughes came to his club in the summer. He wasn't working on this contract all year round. So he's come in the summer in a shit show situation. Don't get me wrong. We've had to appoint a new manager, new backroom staff he's had to contend with, no signings. So he's already on the back foot. Brought Chiesa in. That signing seems to be a flop as of now. Gene might differ, but that's the truth. And now the contracts as well. He's been stuck in a bad place, Asim. Ideally, these contracts should have been executed a year ago. Way before even Jurgen announced that he was leaving. They should have been done before Jurgen was announcing that he was leaving, because this then leaves Trent and Salah and Van Dijk to question the leadership going forward in terms of the management. Now, I think Trent, I think he made, like Gina has said previously, his mind was kind of made up in February, March time. And I think Trent didn't expect the team to do as well as they're doing right now. And that's what's kicked up a little bit of a fuss, I think. I think he could be in double minds as well. And like I said, my mind is changing all over the shop. Every day is changing. He doesn't want to stay, does he want to go? But on the general consensus, I believe he's off.
Gene, you've been quiet for the first 7 minutes.
Look, Avi mentions Richard Hughes. He's had a lot to contend with. End of the day, Avi, the truth is he wasn't there. This Arne Slot was appointed before Richard Hughes came in, so Richard Hughes had nothing to do in terms of the appointment of the manager. He's come in. I can't see. People can say he's done a lot. For me, I haven't seen that he's done anything. What's he actually done? Got a Chiesa deal over the line, which was a no-brainer sort of deal. What else has he done? It's easy to say, he's had a lot to contend with. What's he had to contend with? Exactly what has Richard Hughes had to contend with? His biggest thing was to get these contracts done. That was the primary goal. Avi, 1 second. Look,
it's not easy. He comes in and irons out this contract.
I get it. I'm not blaming Mr. Hughes for the issues before he came, because yes, I can accept that all this should have been done previously by the owners, whoever was in charge over the last 18 months. These contracts should have been sorted before then. Yes, but you've come in and diddly squats happened. Nothing nothing of sort of decent thing has actually happened.
Gene, you know, and I know full well that the way the clubs run, that there must be negotiations that have happened in previous months. We haven't all of a sudden picked up the phone and said, "Yeah, let's start talking to Trent's advisor, or Tyler Trent, his brother, or Van Dijk's agents, or Rami Abbas." Obviously, they've been talking over the last few months. Now, this could be the length of contracts. We don't have any say in that. We don't know what the issue is. Does Salah want a 2-year? Does he believe that he deserves a 3-year? We don't know. And it could be the minest of minor details that just need to be ironed out. I mean, you were still confident that Salah and Van Dijk sign. And
I'm still confident that they will sign. But Avi, the truth is, yes, you can be confident about something, but that doesn't mean until it's actually done, and it's signed with the dotted line, there's always going to be fears, isn't there? That's normal. Yeah. With any contract, with any deal, with any signing, we're in January. You're the one that was saying to me when it was February, when it was October times, Avi, that Gene, if it is not done in October.
See you.
Wi-Fi played up.
I got rid of him.
No, he said he was worried. And I said, I was worried too. I said after October, I'm worried. I still am. I'm still worried on all three.
I told you guys in August it was time to worry. In August. Now we're in January and nothing has changed.
Kinegon, you said after October.
No, I was saying you're the one that came on the show Avi, numerous times and said to me you were the most confident one out of all four, and you said you were the one that was turning around to us and saying that, you know what, if it's not done by October, we should all really be worried, right? And we're sat here in January, Avi. So you pardon my pun, but we're gonna be worried, and the fans are peed off with Richard Hughes and stuff. I get prior
I'm
to
in the same boat.
and all of that, but you have to point the finger at Hughes for the last 4 or 5 months because it feels though
No, I
Jack
think-
Hole's happened, Avi, man.
I
Jack
think
Hole.
You've got to point the finger at him, at George Schmatke, at Jurgen Klopp, at FSG, John
How,
Henry.
how
They
can you point the finger at George Schmatke?
Asim,
Who's
you're
here
coming
on
as
the
sporting
part-
I
director.
came in for 3
You're
months.
coming in as you
check
came in
the
as sporting
emails.
director. Okay, but there is a transition. Oh, when you take up a position, you know what's left to do. Yeah,
Right.
he was in charge of making signings that he did. So Bostolai, Endo, Gravenberch, and what was the other name?
McAllister was done by thingy.
Okay, McAllister was done. So he done
McAllister.
3. So if you're going to credit with those 3, you can't just say that he was only working on recruitment.
Okay,
you
can
work
I
on the
come-
whole
yeah.
aspect of a club. Sporting director title, you work on the aspects of the
Can I
club.
come in?
Your current playing staff and the playing staff that you're going to be recruiting.
When
You
did
pay-
Schmatke
that's
when
the
did
sporting
Schmatke
director.
come
Let's
in?
be a bit mature.
When did
Let's be a
Schmatke
bit-
come in?
All 4 of us are intelligent men, and we know what a sporting director does. Yeah, we all know what a sporting director does. They work on that whole aspect of the club, not just recruitment.
When did Schmatke come in?
It was what, I don't know which month it was. What, 2023?
I can't remember exactly. If someone in the chat lets us know. But Avi, he will have gone even if he did, which I don't think it will happen because he came in when we already knew Klopp's leaving. Is that right?
No, who Schmatke?
No.
No, Klopp
When did he
announced
come in?
it last season. He came in way before Klopp announced that
He
he's
came
coming.
in the summer, is it? He came for the summer, Asim.
So he came for a year.
He came for about 4 or 5 months, isn't it? Or was it a year? I think he came for 4 or 5 months. He actually did the January transfer window as well.
May, June.
He didn't come
2022.
after Klopp announced that he's leaving.
Yeah, so he did that window.
He can't even get the
thing.
dates right.
Yeah, he did that.
So after a couple of months, Klopp announced he's
Klopp
leaving.
announced, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So he can't even approach those players because those are players that are going to straight away say we don't know who the manager is going to be. So why do we talk about a contract? Sort your manager out, and we might. Before that, you can. I think the blame should be on the previous sporting director and the owners as a whole. I don't think Schmatke. I think Schmatke did well. You know, we gave him a load of shit, but his job was. I know he probably.
I agree with Asim.
You know, in hindsight, the players that he got, I think he did all right. But I think here's a big question for you, Klopp. Not Klopp, Jake. Sorry, is we've discussed this in the WhatsApp. How much blame do you think Jurgen Klopp should take the fact that he left out of the blue? He made the announcement out of the blue. So come November, when he made that announcement, all the contract negotiations, wherever they were, well, let's say they haven't been approached, but we lost about 12 months since then. We lost about 6 months because the players, the top 3 players, whenever if they got approached, they would just said, look, you know, Klopp's leaving. We don't know who the manager is. So why would they commit? But my question to you is, does Klopp need to take a bit of a blame?
Yeah, I think he takes
Because
the
he's
ball.
slightly underpaid.
It's easy saying we can blame Klopp, but look, I'm going to be partial here, right? I'm going to be impartial here. Owners take Billy Hogan, Mike Gordon, the real people inside and out. Whilst we didn't have a sporting director, they should be taking blame. Yeah, George Schmatke, okay, we let him off. Jurgen Klopp shouldn't, because if that was a reaction leading up to his resignation, that look, I'm genuinely tired. Maybe he knew that look, the next step for FSG to evolve as a business, as a brand, is by getting sporting directors and is by getting back Julian Ward, Pedro Marquez from Benfica, and you want to have this whole structure, this whole sporting sort of club. Then Klopp said, look, I don't want part of that. Funnily enough, Klopp's exactly gone to that now of what we're trying to do. He's going to Red Bull and looking after the whole structure of Red Bull with all the Brazilian Red Bull clubs, Germany and whatnot. So that's fine. I wouldn't blame Klopp.
Okay.
It's hard.
But do you think Klopp took too much on? But do you think Klopp took too
Yeah,
much on?
I think so. I think so.
If he took too much on, don't you think things got neglected upstairs?
Things did get neglected because we know that Schmatke was probably Klopp's appointment.
It was.
And was it the right appointment? I don't know. Yes, we can talk about Endo now and Szoboszlai now, McAllister now. Well, not McAllister, like you said, McAllister was the previous sporting director signing, but Gravenberch, I think those signings any other sporting director could have made. It wasn't hard work. I mean, Szoboszlai was a release clause, so there wasn't much negotiation there. McAllister would have needed a nudge, but you got Jürgen at the helm and Gravenberch needed out of Bayern Munich.
This is ridiculous. You say, oh, we just triggered the Szoboszlai release clause and that's no negotiating. Negotiating isn't the whole deal. You have to identify the player, want the player, and get the player over the line. I mean, it's not just triggering a release clause. It's not like Sobo doesn't have a say in it.
But Jake,
you bring in a different sporting director. Who knows if they go after him or not?
When a player has a release clause, Jake, it's always easier to get a deal done when a player has a release clause.
Of course,
and the club and the opposing club is ready to purchase him for that. So we paid what, 50, 60 million, was it? It was a loan that we actually took out to buy Szoboszlai.
Of course,
so it was smoothed over. If we had to deal with Leipzig and negotiate with Leipzig like we did with Naby, then it would be far more complex because that Naby deal was complex. Because
what does it matter how complex it is?
We brought Naby and we had to loan him out for another year as well.
Who cares how complex it is? You sign a player. Is he good or is he not good? He's good, okay. You give credit to the guy that signed him. He's not good, you blame the guy that signed him. Doesn't matter how easy or how hard the deal is. What does it matter? You think you get extra bonus points because you signed a complex deal? Nobody cares how easy or hard the deal is. They care if the player is good or not.
But you're proving my point that any sporting director could have been at the helm instead of George Matke. Maybe a more privy or maybe a smarter sporting director. Look, simple question. Who knew of George Matke before Klopp appointed him? No one did.
But what does that matter?
But how many other renowned sporting directors do we know? We know plenty of sporting directors out there.
If you want to make a real point,
so
didn't want him.
Jake, that recruitment in itself in George Matke, knowing that he was on an initial 3-month deal, by the way, because we didn't have our shit in order. So whoever's to blame for that, I wouldn't blame Klopp. Maybe Hogan and Mike Gordon were to blame for that. He was only brought in as a 3-month basis just to look after the position, to hold it until we identify a proper sporting director. No one knew that we were going back. No one knew that we were going backwards and getting the whole shebang back. Richard is a new recruit, but I mean Edwards, Julian Ward, and Richard Hughes coming in, and Michael Edwards. No one knew that, so he was holding that position. So it was a difficult period of time, and that's why contracts were probably neglected, Asim. So the whole club takes responsibility, from the owners to the management. Jürgen not so much. The people that were sat in that position of Mike Gordon and Billy Hogan, who are the financial men, who saw out the contracts, who were supposed to be these middlemen for FSG, they ballsed it up as well. And obviously the owners, the less said about them, the better.
There's been a few comments. I think my mouse's battery's gone. It is working. Zubi changed his mind last minute. Can't blame anyone for that. I think that's right. I think they more or less got the impression. Some were reporting that they got the player's word as well, that if we approach Sociedad, it's coming, but they just piled on the pressure. And some of you guys thought yesterday that Trent is going to do the same as well. Let's go through a few super chats. Thank you very much, Lucky, for the super chat. If Trent tells the club he wants to leave, what should the club do? Keep or sell in January? And then we've just got one more through Kieran. Thank you very much, brother. No Klopp/Edwards power struggle means these contracts would have been sorted and would have been in this situation. Because that is a big story amongst the Liverpool fan base. I don't think this is played out as much as in the media as it is amongst the Liverpool fan base, Gene. That there was 100% of power struggle. Julian Ward spent 6 months shadowing Edwards before he left, did a few deals and left after 6 months. That was a massive, massive shock to us. So Liverpool, did pride themselves in sorting out a lot of things upstairs, but there was a lot of noise, a lot of mess, and definitely there was a power struggle. And in terms of identifying a couple of players, Nunez, Gakpo, some would say they weren't even FSG signings. They were more highlighted by Pep Linders and Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, Asim, look, I agree with you. There was obviously at that time, there was a lot of murmurings about a power struggle between Edwards and Klopp, and then obviously Edwards left, and then Julian Ward came in, and it was baffling that Julian Ward was in a job for about 8 months, and then even he was off. And yes, Jurgen Klopp, some will say, he built that trust amongst the football club over the years. He's bought us success, and you know, it's inevitable that over time the manager will become a lot. He will take care, you know, handle a lot more of the stuff and do what he wants to do, sort of thing. And to an extent, I get it. That Klopp built the trust, but the truth is, Asim, it was a detriment to us. And the reason why it was a detriment is because the minute you sign a few of the players that you wanted, right, that Klopp wanted, 6 months to a year after that, Klopp wants out. So there is a bit of blame on Klopp here then, because you can't completely neglect what happened. Because yes, these contracts should have been sorted out before. And at times the players will say, look, okay, Klopp was our manager. They thought the Klopp was going to be a manager. He then handed in his resignation. He said he was leaving at the end of the month. The players were no way gonna give us their word about staying until the new manager had come in. If they like the manager, all that palaver. So there is some blame has to go to Klopp and the ownership and everybody involved, because I do believe that this wouldn't have got to where it's got to right now had there not been a power struggle. I can accept that comment. But because there was one, but Klopp would have, if Klopp would have stayed, I think the contracts would have got sorted. But because he'd left, the whole situation changed.
Asim, it's not ideal. And look, every football club has gone through this with contracts and stuff. United have gone through it. We do live by off this wage structure that we have in place, Asim, that we won't pay the likes of, you know, the youngsters. There's a certain, and Alex Inglethorpe said it straight. He goes, we pay a certain amount for our youngsters because we don't want them driving in Lamborghinis or, you know, high-end Mercedes cars or Maybachs and stuff into the training ground. And these how we have seen the fruition of the academy work with the youngsters that have come through or are coming through, right? Whereas United, you know, they've been playing Flana, like someone like Rashford, 380k a week. Some of the youngsters they've got on their books, they're paying like 70, 80,000 a week. And you see the way that clubs run, right? So we are still running a tight ship at the club. And whether people like it or not, there'll always be a wage structure in place. But if people expect that we should be paying Trent 400k a week, I don't think that's going to be happening. I don't think we're going to be paying him 350 a week. I think there's a set figure with Trent entering his twilight years, his peak years, from 26 to 30, 31, where they feel that, look, maybe 300k a week is fine. And then everything else on top of that, bonuses, image rights and whatnot. And I think for a right back, as generational as he might be, I think that's a fair deal. But if the player, and going back to Luke's question, because we haven't answered this, we will address it now, who says if Trent has told the club that he genuinely wants to leave, and if the information that Saj got and a few others that got around that March, April time that Trent's off as well alongside Jurgen, where you'll give it a year or not and go on a free transfer. If Trent has told the club that he wants to leave, then we should sell him. We should sell him in January. There's no way. There's none of us for. Surely not. If Trent has.
Well, you just been talking about the club policy, FSG's, you know, insistence about, you know, openness. Sorry, to allow players leave for free. Doesn't matter how much of a big commodity they are in the eyes of the business model. You know, they've shown many examples. Yeah, they've had some exceptions as well. I get that, but generally speaking, they're all right for players to leave on a free. So if you're telling me, you know, because 15-20 million, if it goes stupid, which it won't, Avi, you know, then it's a different question. But why should we sell and derail our season? I'm using your words. You've been talking about derail our season. Why should we sell one of our best players in January over 20 million?
Because Asim, I'm addressing the question. Lucas has said if Trent Alexander-Arnold tells the club he wants to leave,
so what if he wants to
do?
So what if he wants to leave?
Because if his mind's elsewhere, Asim, you don't want to keep that player. You don't want to keep that commodity at the club. If he has said that he wants to leave, just like the question says, if he's publicly or he said to the club that I want to leave through his agent that I want to leave Liverpool Football Club, you don't keep that player.
But he wants to leave. What's the difference? He's been playing fine.
No, but if he's told the club he wants to leave,
it doesn't matter if he tells them or not. It's the same thing.
If he wants to leave, if he wants to leave them in January, Jake, you don't keep that player. I'm sorry, you don't.
I'm not selling him for 15 or 20.
We should let him leave when it's time. The time is right for us. And obviously, he's only got 6 months left on a contract. If he was 18
how many
months,
times have you seen a club do it their way though? Usually they
Liverpool
give their blessings and say you can go.
Liverpool are very willing to let players on a free. They've shown it in the past.
No, but if a player has said that I want to leave in January, if tomorrow we hear news of Asim, if he's orchestrating these fits,
like you told me, then hasn't he unofficially made that mind up already? Hasn't he already got that mentality?
That's assumption. That's assumption that you're saying that, oh yeah, he's making these moves. We think that he's orchestrating this through his agent. We think he's orchestrating this. But if the player has told the club that he wants to leave in January, I don't know how you keep that player and keep him happy for the rest of the 5-6 months. Because Real Madrid are top of the league, I believe. If Atletico Madrid are top, they're second. Barca have dropped the ball, and they're still in the Champions League, and they're still in the Copa del Rey. So he can still have the similar success that he's had with us, with Madrid, in the next 5-6 months.
The question actually states if it tells the club if he wants to leave. It doesn't say in January.
No, but he says keep or sell in January. So I'm assuming that he's saying that he says in January. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
So in my opinion, I would sell.
Gene, would you sell?
Tell him to fuck off, mate. Straight up, mate. I ain't gonna fucking beat around the bush with this, mate. The guy wants to leave in January when he knows he can go for a free and he's taking the piss out of us. Tell him to F off, mate. Get him out of here. It's not about Asim. You can say, oh, you can stay here for another 4 or 5 months. Guys completely disrespected us then. Completely disrespected us. Tell him to F off. You know what? And you know what? Or tell him to F off or say, you know what? If we don't really care about that 20 million, get on the bench, mate. And you know what? Teach him a lesson for the next 4 or 5 months, and then
Ref's giving you a yellow card for your language.
Asim, you run a business. You run a dessert parlor, and you've got one of the best generational, I don't know, ice cube bloody twists and turns and all this, right? Like you see in Turkey sometimes, they give you the lollipop, then they don't take it back from you, do 360s and all that with your ice cream cone. He wants to leave your business, yeah, and he's told you, look, I want to leave now. Are you going to let him you really want that kind of loyalty? You really want that commitment? If you know he's not going to, if he's not committed to you and he wants to go on bigger and better pastures, why would you keep him?
I tell him you've got 6 months on your contract. I'd get my replacement signed, and then I'll tell him to fuck off.
Asim's not in line to win pharmacy of the year.
Or you let him train the youngster that's coming through. His line of business, isn't it? You let him train the next person in line to become a 360 ice cone scooper, and then that's it.
Jacob, you want to say something?
Yeah, I said Asim's business is not in line to win the championship either.
Well, it could be vendor of the year, isn't he? Is that father of the year or something? I'm sure there's awards there. No, but it's true. Why would you want to keep a player that doesn't want to be there?
There's no way I sell Trent for 15 or 20 million. You're out of your mind. You're getting rid of him for 20 million.
I'm not saying anything. We've not talked about prices.
Jake, the guy comes out and says, I want to leave this football club.
I don't care.
You're willing for him to stay. You're an idiot, man. You're an idiot.
Jake, let me tell you, past managers who get the club, and I'm not saying you don't get the club. I'm not saying that at all. But any player that's ever come out publicly or has flirted with an idea of going to the another team, we do usually let them go there and then.
But Avi, you don't want to play him anymore.
You don't want him for how long? 6 months?
Avi, you want to bench him right now?
I want to bench him, Asim, if we don't hear anything conclusive during the month of January from his mouth. I'm happy to see Bradley seeing us over the finishing line in the league. I'm very confident. I put stats up yesterday. His stats are fucking impressive. 36 games that he's played for us. We won 28. We've lost 4. 3 of those, which we was a substitution in, and we've drawn 4.
Jake? Colin Bradley is...
one second. Bilal says, I say 1 second. Bilal says 35 million or 0, but you win Premier League, Champions League, and Premier League with Trent. Look, with respect to Trent Alexander-Arnold, he hasn't exactly won his 5 league titles. Yeah, we won 1 league title with him for 10 years. So let's put a bit of perspective on it all. Yeah, he's a great player, unbelievable, generational talent, all of that. But we're making it out like, and one thing I don't, and I actually agree with Avi Twinson, why are we making it out like we can't win a title without Trent Alexander-Arnold? We can win a title without him. We can live.
It's a lot of crap. It's a lot. Yeah, and I agree, G. I agree. It's a lot of crap.
Honestly,
people give too much credit.
He's in a generational talent, all of that. You can accept that. But if a guy wants to leave, Asim, he wants to leave and says, I want to go in Jan, you get rid of him.
It's not about... No. It's not about not being able to win with Trent. Nobody's sitting here saying you get
Jake, what about if he downs tools? Jake, what about if he downs tools?
Let him go. Let him go.
No, let me go now. What about if he downs tools? We carry on. He wants to leave. He stays till May and he downs tools straight away. February, March, April are his worst months. Then what?
Then you've got sitting back there that didn't want to be at the club, and he's derailed our championship. Then what? So we miss out on the league by a point.
That's a hypothetical situation. It's
Exactly.
possible.
But we're talking hypothetically right now.
We are
in a hypothetical situation anyway right now.
That is correct. 100% that's a possibility. But what is guaranteed is if you don't have Trent, you're worse. That's guaranteed. There's no hypothetical there. You're a worse team.
I can accept that.
What proof have you got that we're worse? What proof have you got? I provided context right now.
Avi, are you writing them ahead? That you're telling me Bradley can replace Trent? Like
he's not a like for like match, Asim, but he's shown statistically, his form is better.
Do not let.
We're not a worse team without Trent.
Don't convince yourself.
You
that Conor Bradley can replace Trent. Please, this is the problem.
Far too up.
You're getting too emotional.
No,
you're getting too emotional.
You're discrediting your club. You're discrediting your club.
Let me
you
go.
are discrediting your club. No, let me talk. You're discrediting your club because you want a player that
and you're discrediting a world-class player.
That doesn't want to be there. That doesn't want to be there.
Go watch the first 70 minutes of St. James Park and tell me we're the same team without Trent. Go ahead, watch the first 70 minutes. I was there. Tell me we're the same team without him.
So one game. You're calling him out on one game.
Avi, if you're telling me,
no, but did Bradley play in that game?
I'm giving you facts.
Bradley didn't play in that game. That was Kwanzaa. That was Slott's decision to play Kwanzaa right back. Bradley didn't play.
Avi,
so it doesn't matter. That's not relevant. So what happens if Bradley gets hurt? Who's going to play right back?
Which he will.
You got Jake. Okay, one second. Look,
and Gomez.
Trent's been injured last 2 seasons too, Asim.
He has. But you're completely disregarding his world-class talent.
No, completely disregarding
his world-class talent.
You're not understanding.
You're not understanding.
What Pagal?
Okay, Asim, listen.
This is a ridiculous argument.
You just told me, Avi. Listen to me now. You've just told me I saw his numbers and they match Trent's. Show me the numbers. Go on, get him up. Go on.
So,
no,
how come Madrid are not going after Bradley? Why are Real Madrid going after Conor Bradley? If they're the same players, well, how come they're not going after Conor Bradley? Because they're not.
Come on, guys, let's have a bit of intellect in this conversation. Bradley's at 21.
Look, Jake, 1 second.
He's got 12 assists. 12 assists to his name in the last year. In the last calendar year, Bradley has 12 assists to his game.
I don't believe that. There's no way. There's no way he has 12.
Look, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong then. Bring up the stats. Prove me wrong.
Can I just say, when you go, look, Avi. Conor Bradley.
He pocketed Kylian Mbappe. He pocketed Kylian Mbappe in the biggest game in the last 5 years against Real Madrid. He pocketed Real Madrid at right back. He was a superstar. Was he not a superstar that game? Was he not brilliant? Did he not get the crowd going? Did he not get the crowd going against Kylian Mbappe?
He did.
He got your booty loud as well. You stopped filming and you started chanting Conor Bradley. That's what you did, Butter. There's only one Conor Bradley. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying.
Avi. But look, I'll say 1 second. Avi, 1 second. But Avi, you can't distance. Look, if Trent wants to leave Liverpool, I want him gone. I'm not gonna lie. If he comes out and says, I want to leave Liverpool in January, I want him gone. Because if he doesn't want to play for us, we tell him to F off. Right? That's
Conor Bradley has four assists. Conor Bradley has 4 assists in the last 2 years. 4. Where are you coming with 12?
How many?
4.
Okay.
4.
Let me come. He's got
4 in the league.
In all competitions, he has 4.
Since when?
Since last year.
No, that's only.
Avi, can you confirm that?
No, I'm going to deny that, and I'm going to come back with my facts, which are. I don't know what it's actually.
He's counted Ireland.
No, not Ireland. Yeah, not Ireland.
One guy says 4 is not right.
He's got 7 assists and one goal.
So why did you say 13?
So you said 12.
You can't even get stats right. Forget transfer news. Forget stats as well.
7.
You bloody flipping spoofer.
No, but how many did Trent get in the last calendar year?
Why did you say 13?
Oh yeah, I got my numbers.
Yeah,
I got my numbers.
Spoofer. Once a spoofer, always a spoofer.
You gotta call him out on this bullshit, man. You gotta listen to what he says. You're not getting this shit over me. 12 assists. I don't even think he has 7. I don't even think 7 is real.
Sabla.
No.
Somebody in the chat confirm he has 7. I don't think 7 is real.
He's got 7. He's got 7 in the last calendar year.
Why did you lie? I'm going to steal this now.
In all
change
competitions,
your name to Chuta.
no.
Change it.
Hold on. Kieran Thorne, Conor Bradley has 8 goal contributions for Liverpool since 23-20 in 20 starts. That's a great way of putting it. So that's more than an assist over a game. Look at the
That's more than an assist per game. What are you talking about?
No, that's one every what? No, what's the mathematics?
Look,
what's the mathematics? 1 point what? That's a great rate. 8 goal GAs. Yeah, I think he's got 1 goal. 7 assists in 20 starts, Asim. Is that not Trent levels?
That's 1 every 3 games. No, that's probably
this
not
is the
Trent
same
levels.
guy.
Trent
This is the same guy that doesn't like GAs and
Is
this
that not,
and that. But when
no,
he needs it for his own agenda, he puts it up on screen himself.
You're asking for facts, Asim. Is that not Trent levels? 8 goal contributions in 20 starts.
It's the biggest myth in Liverpool Twitter. Or Liverpool amongst Liverpool fan base that
no, that's what you tacticals want to believe.
Job
that's what you tacticals want to believe because you lot put Trent in this fucking pedestal as if he's this fucking world class player. No one can get close.
He is. That's why Real Madrid won him.
That's why Real Madrid won him.
Without Liverpool,
that's why Real Madrid won him.
It's
not Talking United. It's not Talking United.
It is not.
It's Real Madrid won him.
Conor Bradley is good enough for this football club and to see us through in all competitions without Trent.
He'll get injured.
Trent got injured this season. Trent got injured last season.
And that's why I'd keep him.
My God.
I'd keep all of them.
He doesn't want to play for your football club, Asim.
Listen. Let me get this straight. You don't get this. Listen. You got a big head. You got a brain cell. Let me speak now.
Liverpool all your life. You know players that don't want to be at the club. We let them go. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, we got to let them go in the summertime.
Avi, there is a difference when a player comes to you and says, I want to leave. The club, whether he's got 2 months left on his contract, whether he's got 18 months or 6 months, like in this case, the club hold the cards for 6 months. He might have
Conor
overall. No, let me finish. Let me finish. By the way.
That's not better.
Let him finish, man.
What you are not understanding that if someone comes to you, and how many times, every single time a player comes to a club that you want to leave, and then you give him a red carpet treatment and say, go leave. Why should we hurt ourselves? What we should do, there's a difference. Now, this is what you don't understand. Where a player comes to you and says he wants to leave, or where he refuses to play. That's a completely different situation. What you're doing is you're treating, if Trent comes to you and says he leaves, you're treating that situation as if he wants to he's refusing to play. This is why you're going emotional. Oh, fuck off, this, that. No. How many times have we said, why can't we say, look, we don't have time to get a replacement. You're staying here, you go for free. We win the league, and there you go. Good luck.
I don't think our club does that.
Okay.
I don't think Michael Edwards, who's ruthless, and we've seen how ruthless he's been in previous years. Richard Hughes, I'm pretty sure, is cut from the same cloth. He allows that to happen. I think if Real Madrid come knocking with a second offer, I think we'll accept. If that's what's happening. If that's what's being manipulated and being orchestrated, it's obvious that Trent and his agent, they want out of Liverpool now. So you can say all the pretty stuff, oh no, but he'll stay, we'll see the league, we'll give him this sweet talk and say, look, just see the league off with us, and you will get your blessings and go in the summer. I don't think that's how football works.
You don't deserve Trent Alexander-Arnold. You don't deserve him.
I picked out Trent Alexander, 20th of December, 2015. Thank you very much. I'm the one who told the whole world about him. Remember the name, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Thank you.
We had a super chat, boys. Billy with another. Billy says, Asim Bradley has 1 Premier League goal and 4 assists since last season. 1 assist in the Champions League and 3 assists in the FA Cup. Avi, you're lying.
No, that's false. He got some in the Europa League.
Those are the real statistics right there, not the other bullshit that they're telling. Those are the real stats.
In the Europa League.
You are in the mud. You're in the mud.
You're only in the mud. You're only in the mud if you don't provide context. Conor Bradley played the League Cup final last season. Played absolutely.
You can't provide context on the
got a yellow card. Got a yellow card very early on. Proved his colours, and he was part of our winning team. Yeah, played against Real Madrid. He's played big games for us, guys. He's played big games for us, and he's come through flying colours.
I actually like Conor Bradley.
Pinpoint a game where he's let us down. But you're saying to me that he can't see us through, though. I said, you don't want him to see us through.
Because I don't trust his fitness record. Because the nature of his game. It's a last-ditch tackle all the time.
He's back in training now. So he's back in, 3 weeks? He had a 3-week layoff.
How long was Trent out for this season?
And Avi, we don't know what time scale that we've got on Gomez as well.
What you're not taking into consideration, Avi, is if you get rid of Trent, you're losing depth. You're not taking that into consideration. It's not one or the other. You have
Jake,
both.
what if they signed us? What if they sell? What if he goes and they sign the right back in January?
Then it's a different situation, isn't it?
Then it's a different situation, isn't it? Yeah, of course it's different. Yeah,
then
but
you can accept it. You can accept it because our concern is about depth.
Look, I can accept it. Yeah, yours. I mean, let me go, man.
You don't want to leave. You don't want him to leave. That's your
expectation. Yeah, that's my ideal situation. That I wouldn't take 20 million from him. If it gets stupid money, then it's a different situation. How many guys? I think everyone agreed that Mohamed Salah was an unbelievable world-class talent, whatever you want to call him. But remember when we got questioned about if he got offered 150 million, if he got 125 million, your opinion changed because it's stupid money and you can reinvest in it. What's 10, 15, 20 million going to do to us?
The bigger problem is we need a center back.
No, a lot.
We need a center back right now.
We're penny pinchers. We are penny pinching club. That's how we work.
We need a center back right now. If you get rid of Trent and you sign nobody, the likelihood of there being a defensive crisis for this club between now and the end of the season is like 98%. You can't do that. You need a center back right now. Don't tell me we're going to sign a center back and a right back because we're not even going to get one of them. Forget about both of them.
Look, I think someone put it simple.
Okay, thank you very much for the super chat.
Obvious comments like no one's going to replace Trent. There is very few and far between players that can come in and be another Trent. We ain't going to get another Trent. We'll change our approach, and I'm sure Slot has a plan anyway. We're talking as if there's no one out there that can replace Trent. We're not looking for replacements. We're looking for like.
Okay.
There's someone that said, "Look,
Avi, we promised ourselves 20 minutes on Trent. We've given the double that, and probably it was always going to happen, wasn't it? But AK says, let's be real, Trent is a generational game changer. I don't think anyone,
without doubt, he's the best in his position, no doubt.
Okay, Chiesa, some rumors about Napoli and a few other Italian clubs as well. He's already given his opinion. Avi has. I'll start with Jake. Jake, where are you with Mr. Federico?
Where I'm at with this guy is I don't think fitness is the issue with him. Doesn't take a professional athlete 6 months to get fit. And he was on the bench not long ago. I don't know what it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago. He had an appearance for 10 minutes or whatever it was in a cup match. And now all of a sudden he was sick and now he's not fit anymore. I'm not buying these stories. There were rumors a couple of months ago, I think is when they began, that his transition from Italy to Liverpool wasn't smooth and he wasn't happy here. And those rumors are starting to circulate again. I don't know if those rumors are true or not, but I'm going to be more apt to believe those rumors than the fitness issues because, like I said, it doesn't take 6 months for a player to become physically fit to play in the Premier League. So I don't think he's going to make it here. I wouldn't be surprised if we get rid of him in January in this window. At least for this season, assuming that he's here, I don't think that there's a place for him in this side between now and the end of the season. Whether he's here for next season or not, I would be surprised. But for right now, there's no place for him in the team.
Would you keep him? There's some reports about Chiesa has approached Liverpool to let him go on a loan in January to get some game time.
Oh, if he's not settled in and he wants to go back to Italy, no, I let him go 100%. I mean, he's not useful for us, so there's nothing to hang on to. I mean, he's contributed nothing to the team this entire season, so it's a complete different situation than Trent. It's not a player that's asking me to leave, that's in the starting 11 week in, week out when he's fit. So it's a completely different scenario. I let him go. I couldn't care less what happens with this player at this moment, to be honest with you, whether he's here or not. He's in my head. He's not even here. He's not even a player I think about.
I mean, you've let just half of the squad go in January, but so Chiesa won't make a difference, will it?
It's a horrific signing, and I've got to agree with Jake. And people are culpable of whoever sanctioned that deal. Richard Hughes may have been because he's got a strong Italian It's he's got strong Italian connections. It's a horrific decision to get him at Liverpool. The Southampton game, you know, he's shown a couple of glimpses, but he didn't fancy it. Not in that rain, not in that weather. He doesn't seem to have that intensity, physicality. And look, hope I'm wrong. For Chien's sake, I hope I'm wrong. But it's been an embarrassment so far. If we're still talking 6-7 months into the season and we're still talking about him getting up to speed, that's a massive worry. That's shades of Aquilani there.
Chien, is it fair to say it's been an embarrassment?
Look, he cost us 12 million quid. I always look at a deal of how much money we've spent on the player and what he's going to give us. For 12 million pounds, he's given us absolutely nothing as of right now. And you know, you can't hide from that. You know, everything's in front of our eyes. We've seen, you know, he doesn't seem like he's settled. I can accept that, you know, the little cameo that he played against Southampton, I did like what I see. I'm not gonna lie. I thought, you know what, he did look, you know, good at times when he received the ball, and there is a player in there. Am I willing to let him go in January? If Darwin Nunez, I think a lot of it's going to depend on Darwin. If Darwin wants out, I wouldn't sell Chiesa. But I will only sell Chiesa if we bought in that Ryan Xerxes, whatever Xerxes that we're linked to.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, look, Avi, we have to bring in a replacement then. Because if you're getting rid of Darwin Nunez in Jan for 40,
who we talking about, Chiesa or Darwin?
I'm talking. Look, I'm saying because I'm talking about the forward line in general now, aren't I? Because
Darwin's going to win. Darwin's going to win January.
I think we let him go if we get guaranteed 5 plus 40
Milan
guaranteed.
Milan haven't got a pot.
You mean Shirky, Ryan Shirky?
Xerxes, you heard his goal, man. Sorry, man.
Milan haven't got a pot.
If I said Xerxes, man,
Shirky is the wrong profile, but Nunez has got. They even got a pot to piss in Milan. They're not paying 45 million in January for him.
No, not that.
I think if Chiesa leaves
45 in January, it's 5 million euros fee and then obligation to buy. Yeah, then it's an obligation to buy in Jan in the summer. That makes sense.
I wouldn't get rid of Darwin. I still think Slot feels that he can have an impact in certain games and he will still start him. I don't think Slot. Honestly, I don't believe that Slot has given up on Darwin. Funnily enough.
We're getting ready to win all these titles, and you guys want to get rid of everybody. I don't understand what's going on.
We're not getting rid of Darwin. We're not getting rid of But if Chiesa leaves, I don't think we need to look out. We don't need to actively look for a replacement in January. That's what, you know.
Okay, Chiesa I can understand. I can understand. But when the guy's liking posts from AC Milan, when you've got Mr. Nunez liking posts about, you know, photos of him joining AC Milan, that's a problem. That isn't that sign that, you know, he wants out as well. And we did deep down, I think we all know Slot is not a massive fan of him. Why not?
Jake?
Why can't I see him going in Jan?
What's that? Darwin?
Avi says he doesn't believe that Slot has washed his hands with Darwin.
He could do in the summer, but not now.
Oh, there we are. There's the backup.
You know, that's a very interesting topic. It's very seldom that I don't have a strong opinion one way or another on something, but this one is tough for me to answer because I wouldn't be surprised if he was done with him, but there really haven't been signs of that with the way that he utilizes him. So my inclination is to say that he's not finished with him, but that might only be because he doesn't really have other options available up until recently. Jota's been hurt for the vast majority of the last few months. Chiesa hasn't been fit since he stepped through the door. Even when this front three that we have right now started firing, the very first match against Leverkusen, I came out and said this would be my front three moving forward. It was like another month after that match for Slot to utilize that front three again. So I don't think he's washed his hands with him. I think we do need to improve there. I think we do need to find another striker in the summertime. But I still think that there's a place for him between now and the end of the season. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to bang or that he's going to produce, but I think there's a role that he can carve out for him between now and the end of the season for him to be at least somewhat productive.
If you let Chiesa go, does this open the door or a few more opportunities for this lad? Big up Zeb, by the way, one of our own.
I don't think
100%, 100%, Jake. I'm telling you, man. The few little cameos I've seen of Dan's, I've seen enough to see that, you know what, this guy's a decent footballer and he's done well. There's no, we can't turn on that little cameo. He came on, he touched the ball 4 times, and you could tell he did more than them 4 minutes than Darwin did in 70 minutes in that game. But
there is no room for this guy and this team for this season, Dan's. And I'm telling you right now, he's not going to carve out a place for him this season. It's not going to happen.
I can accept he won't carve. That's fine. I can accept that. But if Darwin
left,
it's
not rocket science, though, is it? It's not rocket science. He's still like 19. Come on.
Yeah, of course it's not rocket science.
He could be an able option.
The player is not good. I'm just saying.
He could be an option against like the Accrington Stanleys in the FA Cup early rounds. Dan's could be an option. But I don't see Darwin Nunez leaving in January, Asim. I think that's a non-starter.
Okay.
Even for 45 million.
No.
I can't see the club cutting the ties in January. Summer maybe, Gina, but not now. We'll talk about
what if Darwin Nunez tells Liverpool he wants to leave?
Then yeah, by all means, with our blessings, please go to Milan, play with Pulisic and Rafael Leao. Get Leao in, innit? Get Leao in for Nunez. He knows big man.
So Salah comes tomorrow and says, "You know what? You guys are disrespecting me with these contracts. I want out right now in January. You're letting Salah go?"
Jake Mohammed.
No chance. There is an exception to the rule. There is an exception to the rule.
Mohammed has the freedom of Merseyside. He can do what he wants.
Yeah,
he has the freedom of the sea.
Jake, it took 10 minutes for them to agree with us.
Come on, man. Yeah, look, Salah will never Salah doesn't disrespect Liverpool, man.
He
doesn't disrespect us, man. He doesn't disrespect us.
You're right.
Let's go to another player.
From him, 100%.
Let's go to another player Avi has been talking about, waxing lyrical about, and he even said, keep an eye out on him if Liverpool move in January or in the new year. And there were some reports. I don't know exactly who they were, but
Craig Hook, very reliable.
I think he's the Newcastle. Newcastle, isn't he? And a bit of Arsenal, I think, as well sometimes. But he works with Lewis. But anyway. Avi, tell me about Tyler Dibling, and how much would he cost in January?
I don't think.
Or is he a summer signing?
Either summer one, especially if Real Madrid get relegated. If Southampton get relegated, I think he's going to be on everyone's watch. Man United, Arsenal, perhaps cover for Saka for the first early years. He's an absolutely brilliant player, Asim. Big up Kieran Thorne, who told me about him a couple of years ago now. It's 2 years now coming to the day where Kieran Thorne said, watch out for Tyler Dibling. They're doing a bit more research, getting a bit of information down south, Portsmouth, Southampton area. He would love to join Liverpool, Asim, if we were really serious about it.
How is his end product? I know he can carry the ball with the best of them, but I don't know how his end product.
He's 18, so obviously that'll come in the coming years, Jake, but he's such a brilliant, he's a powerhouse already. He's got that physicality already. You've seen the trouble that he gave us in the league game. His dribbling skills are great. He can carry the ball. He's been Southampton's best. He's been the best player out of a very poor bunch. And he's the only one, maybe another player or so, the central defender that they have got, who have sort of climatized to the Premier League so early on. So he's, I think he's a big talent, Asim, and I think there'll be a whole host of clubs at the queue. But I think we may have made headwaves already with his family members or whatnot, and trying to get this deal done in the summer. But definitely one to watch out for him and that Chris Rigg. And Kieran Thorne, we should get Kieran on the show because he will give us all the details on him. Good end product all through youth level. Need to take account into that he's at Southampton as well.
Well, you think he's more of a player that plays in the right side in midfielder role? Is that correct?
I think ultimately he'll drop deeper in his sort of not best years, but in his sort of like mid-20s. But people see him as a direct replacement for Salah. I'm not sure if he can do the numbers as Salah does, but I like to see him as behind the
can do the numbers Salah does.
I think he can
if he does half of them, he'll be all right.
I think he can do what Lallana was for us. You know, like Lallana early years, that dribbling skill, just got that cultured sort of talent. He's got a bit of that European flair with him. Like, you know, he can do that turns and stuff. Like, he's a brilliant footballer. And I love the way he boots and the way he plays his shots as well.
The bits of I've seen of him, Avi, he looks very technical as well. Don't get me wrong, but he looks like, I know he may be raw and he's at 18 years of age and he might mature out, But at the moment, it looks like a guy who can carry the ball.
Yeah, he can carry the ball.
I'd
rather him carry the ball from
at
deep.
the moment, no?
I would like if he carries the ball from deep.
Okay.
Gravenberch does it. Gravenberch like a Curtis Jones, like a Szoboszlai. I think we can mold him into that. I don't think his best attribute will be off the right. He's doing a job for Southampton on the wing, but I think there's so many facets to his game that he could be rotated or eventually come into a midfield 3 area.
Can he become a Kulusevski?
Yeah, he could do. 100%. He's got the pace. He's got a good left foot of him. We haven't seen enough of him in terms of productivity because Southampton don't have the ball. Russell Martins did try to play the same way that he implemented in the Championship. It's very hard because there's so many better teams, and we've seen Southampton's form. But if he's at a better team, the talent is, he'll get more of the ball to showcase what he's all about. But he's a top player. These a good shout from Sugair as well. Dibling is the new Palmer. I think that's a good shout. Left-footed, cultured, plays with that little bit of flair, that we're not accustomed to when it comes to British players. Dibling is that guy.
A few people,
and he'll be at top club, regardless of whether our interest is concrete or not. He'll be at top club next summer.
Yeah, he's a great player, but if I had a choice, I'd go and get Morgan. I like Morgan Rogers, man.
Yeah, but they're different profiles. Yeah. Morgan Rogers.
Different profiles, but and even Asim mentioned what's his name today.
Gibbs White.
What's his name, Asim? Gibbs White.
Gibbs White.
Every time I've seen Gibbs White, he's been brilliant. He's really impressed me every time I've seen him. But Morgan Rogers, man, he's got everything.
Morgan
Rogers will cost a lot of money. But
was Gibbs White at top club before he went to Wolves, or was he a Wolves product?
No, he went to Wolves.
Oh,
the Wolves paid
40 million.
Yeah, yes, they paid something stupid for him.
But was he at Arsenal? Anyone else beforehand?
I forgot which club he was at.
Or was he at Wolves? He might have just been at Wolves.
They bought him.
No, he wasn't. They bought him. No, Wolves bought him from somewhere.
Asim, do you not feel that Szoboszlai can do that Morgan Gibbs White role?
I agree with
what doing that role.
I agree with what Jake said in the group today, that we all agree we need a body. Whether that we mean if we bring someone like Morgan Gibbs White, you're right. A lot of people said it on Twitter as well when I put it up that Szoboszlai does that role. But I think we need extra physicality. If we're not going to buy a proper natural six, whether that is a Blaber type, even though I don't think he's a natural six, Azuba Mendy is a natural six, but is more of a slot type, a natural destroyer that we've all been talking about. But I think if we're going to add quality, a technician, a good player, really good danger in transition, which Morgan Gibbs White is, he's the catalyst to that counter-attacking team with their two wide players coming inside as well. But I think he does a bit of everything. We can play him on the left-hand side of midfield. We can play him on the right. We can play him as a natural 10. He can press from forward, like Slot likes to do from the second striker. If that's Szoboszlai or Curtis Jones, I think he can be a really good addition, Avi. If that means it might need McAllister to do a few extra shifts to cover Gravenberch, then so be it. But I don't think it's going to happen, Avi, because
I think Gibbs White is a non-starter.
Yeah, the reason why is FSG like a player that's done around about 115, 130 games in the Premier League or in the European League, and then spend 30-40 million pound on him, and then take him to 80, 90, 100 million pound player. That is the model. If they've already spent 40 million pounds from Wolves, Nottingham Forest may get European football this year, you're looking at 80, 90 million pounds on Morgan Gibbs White on a profile I even admit that I'm not desperate for. I'd rather go Liverpool spend on that and a centre back, a left back, and maybe another number 6 to cover for Gravenberch. So it's not a priority, and that's why I don't think it's going to happen.
Can I ask you three a question? So Stefan Bajicic, it looks as if his loan spell at Salzburg hasn't been as successful as it should have, even though Pep Linders was there. There's a chance that we recall him back. Jake, what would you do with him? Would you send him back out on loan, or would you add him to a bit of depth in the midfield area who can cover right back if Trent goes, and then we get rid of like Tyler Morton and sell him off for another club? Would you recall Bajicic?
My opinion would be yes, but it's clear that Slot doesn't think so. So because of that, and because of how the loan spell has gone for the last 6 months, it's hard for me to believe that all of a sudden now he's ready to be counted on for this team. So based on what we all saw from him, this was 2 years ago now because he barely played. I don't even know if he played last season. Based on what we saw from him 2 years ago, we all think very highly of him, and there's a talent there for sure. And we're just assuming he's going to be able to step in and regain that form. It's clear to me that that's not the case. If it was the case, he wouldn't be out on loan. And even if he was out on loan, it probably would have been a little bit more successful than what you're telling me it has been. So I don't think that that's a possibility for right now.
Asim?
Oh, sorry. My screen's gone a bit weird. I don't know what's happened. How's he been doing, Avi? I'm not gonna lie. I don't really pay attention.
He's shown a bit of glimpses, but he's not had a regular, consistent run, and nothing to shout home about. It could just be that it was the wrong fit.
I don't think it was about wrong fit, Avi. I think Slot came in and just thought this guy needed games, and I can't give him games. That is a very, very interesting profile, Stefan Bajcetic. He's got the I need to be careful here before I get clipped. He's got the potential to be a real star, but he needs to develop physically and in terms of technically as well. You need to be a certain profile, and I don't think he's that, especially what we've been seeing as the evolution where it was always a double pivot, whether it was, in first phase, second phase. There's always a two, generally speaking, early on in the season. And I've always talking about it since the increase in trust in Gravenberch is Liverpool have moved away from a 4-2-3-1 to more of a 4-3-3. And especially in the first phase of attack, building through the single pivot in Gravenberch. And if he's that press-resistant player, then he needs to develop those skills. And I saw him in a couple of games when he was coming on, because he had a few preseason games, didn't he, Bajcetic? Or was that last season?
Arsenal, Man United as well. It was Man United and Arsenal.
And I think he wasn't ready. Obviously, he had a tough 12 months last season as well. But I think Liverpool, I think if he didn't think that he could turn out to be a real good addition for Slot, I think we might have taken a permanent deal on him. I really think. But the reason why we didn't is because we think this guy can be special, where he can play in that single pivot. He can play box to box, left or right. So we've just been talking about Morgan Gibbs White. I don't think he's that profile, but especially in deeper areas, he can do jobs on both flanks. So I think we just should give him a bit of time. If we've been talking about giving Chiesa a bit of time, I think Stefan Bajcetic deserves a bit of time as well, doesn't he?
100%. Gina, anything from your end?
Bajcetic, I don't know, man. I get there was a bit of hype about him a couple of years ago. We were struggling then. We weren't really the team that we are now. Times moved on, Avi. Yes, the profile might have been decent, but I don't think he's going to quote it for Liverpool Football Club, if I'm honest. If he hasn't shown the glimpses, he's been out for a year, he's gone on loan, hasn't really done anything on this loan spell, and we've moved on as a football club. Yes, Slot might have liked him. Tyler Morton's played for Liverpool. He's hardly had a sniff in this team. Who's to say, what's his name? Bajcetic comes back and he's going to get a sniff. He's probably not. But I would send him out on loan, give him a loan deal at a lower Premier League club now, and see if he can cut it in the Premier League. Because I'm with Jake, man. 2 years ago is a long time. And what was the sample size of games that we saw him play? 10 when we weren't great.
The lack of development last season because of
it's worrying.
It's harmed him big time. And he does need a good season out where he just plays 45 to 50 games. So hopefully another loan can.
Has he been starting over there, Avi?
He has been starting some games, but the last few weeks, like Jake says, he hasn't been starting. Bobby Clark's found it. He's struggling in the Austrian league, and it's not the toughest league in the world. We've seen players do silly numbers. Mina was doing silly numbers there. It's not as a tougher league as we'd hope. Maybe he just needs to learn. I mean, Barca came in for him in the summer. That could have been a smart move, and he would have got game time there. But that's a whole different issue.
You would have got game time for Barca.
I think he would have got some game time, yeah.
He can't even play in Holland. You think he's going to get game time in Barca?
Barca were riddled with injuries at the beginning of the season in the midfield area. Gavi just got back, and he still
They're not riddled with injuries now.
They haven't, but
I don't even think, what's his name? That Dutch midfielder gets Frankie de Jong. He put something in there. He hardly gets any game time. So put Lija Bajcetic getting any game time. If Frankie de Jong isn't getting game time, Bajcetic definitely ain't.
But I think with Frankie, there's other logistical reasons why he's not getting game time, because they need to play out
I can accept that.
because he has to hit a number of games in Barcelona. They're stuck with Olmo. I do have a bit of an exclusive here.
Wait, exclusive. Go on then.
It's not one of those ones. Liverpool have been in talks with Ayman Heaven. He's a centre back at Arsenal. We've spoken to his representatives. He's rejected the first initial contract from Arsenal, but Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester United are hot on his trails.
Are you reading this off your phone, or is it coming from you?
That's off the cuff.
Okay, your eyes.
Who is this guy?
Ayman Heaven. He's a 17-year-old centre back, 18-year-old. Very highly thought of. He's rejected Arsenal's first contract proposal. Let's see.
Never heard of him, mate. Never heard of him.
What's his name?
Ayman Heaven.
So if we get him, we're in heaven, yeah?
Heaven or hell?
This is a prank.
Heaven.
That's still spelled wrong. It's heaven. It's heaven. Ayman Heaven.
TK. Okay, I think that's the wrap, boys.
Yep.
Another hour. I think I haven't even mentioned if you like the stream. I quickly typed it out on there, put it on the camera screen. Sorry. Like the stream, guys. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back tomorrow. Chip and Sheen tomorrow, guys.
Chip and Sheen. I believe we've got a special guest coming in tomorrow.
Are we?
Well, I think so.
We've got a Baya coming tomorrow. An old foe of ours is coming on tomorrow, so it should be fun. It should be fun. Another hour. I think Gina's sorting out the times with him, and then it will be the four of us. Asim, I think you're free as well. So it will be the four of us tomorrow from 10 to 11.
Okay. Reese asks.
I think there is some breaking news, boys. I think you may want to just quickly look at Twitter before we go.
There is hope Chiesa can become a regular.
Yeah, listen. This guy's been messaging me quite a few times about Pakistan and Pakistan's cricket. We're playing South Africa. Listen, I know India got beat by the Aussies recently. Avi's been very, very quiet on the cricket front recently. If you saw the cry babies cry a few times, you're crying, man. You're pretty crying. Oh, it didn't hit the bat and all sorts, man. Have you not seen the news? Cody's there fighting with a 16-year-old.
I'm a Pakistan fan. I'm a Pakistan fan. I don't support India. I don't support India. I appreciate the Bumrah. Gina, you have to appreciate Bumrah though.
He's a world-class talent, man. He's one of the best. He is the best bowler in the world. But looking forward to I'm looking forward to it. Look, hopefully Liverpool, Pakistan will get a win under the belt, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
Just before we leave, Avi, Slots presser tomorrow. That'll be interesting. Personally, I think he'll bat away a couple of
100%. He's batting away.
He'll bat away just like he's been for the last 6 months. A few questions. I think, personal opinion, that you'll get a few questions from Sky Sports and stuff like that. Other journalists will have been briefed. No questions on Trent.
It's that Vinny O'Connor, isn't it, of Sky Sports? He will definitely probe. But Slot handles himself so well, so eloquently. He will brush it away, and that's it. No word will be said. But are we all confident on Virgil van Dijk signing soon?
Yeah. I think we've been saying that for about 6 months, but whatever soon means, I think he'll sign. Yeah. Why? Why do you ask another exclusive? You're gonna drop it?
I wish I had a bit of conviction, but no.
Avi, my mouse has gone empty again, so you'll have to do the.
Yeah, guys, make sure you like and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. And then obviously we'll be doing shows on Saturday and Sunday, most probably. Thank you, Jake, for tuning in all the way and contributing all the way from Colombia. Gene, pleasure as always. And Asim, great stuff. Thank you so much, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.